Everyone says a tourist visa has no impact on your 491 visa application, right? Wrong. That common belief could be the very reason your dream of permanent residency is shattered. In this video, we're exposing the truth about how your tourist visa history actually influences your 491 application and what you can do to navigate these complexities successfully. Because while the Department of Home Affairs never outright says, your tourist visa will affect your skilled migration, the reality is that every visa you hold, every entry and exit from Australia, and every condition attached to your stay leaves a paper trail. And that trail can either work for you or work against you. Let's address the elephant in the room, your tourist visa status. Are you currently in Australia on a tourist visa? Have you been on one recently? If so, this is not just some small irrelevant detail in your immigration history. For the 491 visa, it can be a very big deal. A tourist visa is designed for exactly what the name suggests: temporary visits for tourism, short-term family visits, or limited business activities like attending a conference. It is not a visa for migration, work, or long-term residency. When you apply for a 491 visa, you're declaring a clear intent to live and work in regional Australia for several years as part of a pathway to permanent residency. The mindset, the purpose, and the legal framework behind these two visas could not be more different. And that's exactly where problems can start. Some applicants think they can game the system, enter on a tourist visa, then quickly lodge a skilled migration application like the 491 while they're in Australia, assuming it will somehow speed things up or give them an edge. In reality, this can backfire badly. Immigration officers look closely at your visa history. If they see that you entered on a tourist visa and without any real change in circumstances, switched your intent to permanent migration, they may doubt the honesty of your earlier application. That doubt can bleed into your GTE assessment, your credibility, and ultimately your chances of success. Now, let's talk about the common pitfalls, the traps that catch people out time and time again. The first is the dreaded no further stay condition, also known as 8503. This little code on your visa means exactly what it says. While you're in Australia, you cannot apply for another visa, except in very limited and exceptional circumstances. If your tourist visa has this condition, your 491 application will be dead in the water unless you leave Australia. And even if you leave, the fact that you were on a visa with 8503 can raise questions about whether you were ever intended to apply for something longer term while here. The second pitfall is the genuine temporary entrant requirement, or GTE. For a tourist visa, you have to prove to the department that you genuinely intend to stay temporarily. This means showing strong ties to your home country, like a job, property, family commitments, or other reasons you'll go back. But here's the twist. When you apply for a 491 visa, you're doing the exact opposite, showing you intend to live in Australia long-term in a regional area. If your tourist visa history shows a pattern that contradicts your 491 intent, it can create a credibility problem. For example, if you told the department last year that you just wanted to see the beaches and visit friends, but now you're saying you've been planning to migrate all along, they may start wondering what's really true. Then there's the matter of previous visa refusals or cancellations. Even a minor issue on a tourist visa, like overstaying by a few days or failing to comply with conditions, can turn into a big red flag for your 491. The department has access to your complete immigration record, and any breach, no matter how small, can weigh heavily against your claims of being a compliant, genuine applicant. That said, it's not all doom and gloom. There are strategic ways to navigate your tourist visa history without tanking your 491 chances. The key is timing, evidence, and honesty. There are situations where it's perfectly fine to apply for a 491 after holding a tourist visa. One is a genuine change of circumstances. Maybe when you entered on your tourist visa, you truly were just visiting, but then your personal or professional situation changed unexpectedly. For example, you were offered a job in regional Australia that matches your skills assessment, or your partner received a 491 nomination and you became eligible as a secondary applicant. These changes, when documented well, can make your case credible. Another smart move is documenting your tourist visa purpose. Keep records, travel itineraries, accommodation bookings, proof of return flights, evidence of activities you actually did while visiting, and proof of financial ties to your home country at the time. This shows that you were indeed meeting the tourist visa's intent and not just using it as a backdoor to permanent residency. If you ever need to explain your immigration history, having this evidence can help prove your honesty. Sometimes, the safest approach is to leave Australia before applying. If your tourist visa has restrictive conditions, or if your GTE history is shaky, applying offshore can reduce scrutiny. While it might be inconvenient and mean a longer wait outside the country, it also shows the department that you're following the correct pathways instead of trying to bypass the system. To fully understand why your tourist visa history matters so much, you need to grasp what makes the 491 visa unique. The 491 is not just another skilled migration visa. It's a state or territory-nominated provisional visa with strict regional residency requirements. You have to commit to living, working, and studying in a designated regional area for at least 3 years before you can apply for permanent residency. This is not a casual commitment, and the state or territory that nominates you expects to see genuine intent. If your recent immigration history shows you were on a tourist visa with no clear connection to regional Australia, you may have to work harder to convince them that your intent is real. Proof of that intent can come in many forms: evidence of job opportunities in the region, research into housing, community involvement, or even visits to the regional area before applying. But here's the catch. If your tourist visa visit was mainly spent in Sydney or Melbourne, and now you're claiming a strong desire to live in a rural town you've never been to, it might raise doubts. The 491 also has other core requirements: a positive skills assessment in an eligible occupation, and meeting minimum English language proficiency. These have nothing to do with your tourist visa eligibility, but they're part of the bigger picture. If you fail to meet them, your tourist visa history won't even come into play, because your application will fail on technical grounds. But when you do meet them, your immigration history becomes part of the overall credibility assessment. So, what's your action plan? First, if you have any doubts or a complicated visa history, consult a registered migration agent before making any moves. They can assess your specific situation, check for conditions like 8503, and help you decide whether to apply onshore or offshore. Second, be completely transparent and honest in all your applications. Omitting information or trying to hide a tourist visa history is one of the fastest ways to get refused, and in some cases, barred from applying again for several years. Third, focus on meeting all the 491 requirements in full. That means having your skills assessment, English test results, state nomination approval, and clear evidence of your commitment to regional Australia ready before you lodge. If your tourist visa history is less than perfect, the strength of the rest of your application can help offset concerns. Finally, remember that your immigration record is permanent. Every visa you apply for, every entry and exit, every condition attached, it all stays in the system. Thinking strategically about how each step affects the next can make the difference between securing your 491 visa and facing another refusal. The tourist visa might seem unrelated to skilled migration, but in the department's eyes, it's all connected. The sooner you understand and work with that reality, the smoother your pathway to permanent residency will be. So, while the myth says your tourist visa has no impact on your 491, the truth is far more complex. Your tourist visa history can absolutely shape how your skilled migration application is viewed. If you manage it well, it won't be a problem. In fact, it can even work in your favor. But if you ignore the details, misunderstand the conditions, or try to shortcut the process, it can be the very thing that derails your dream of living in regional Australia permanently.